What's up, guys? My name is Aaron and I am in recovery. So I am going to share with you some information that I think might help some of you that are struggling with early recovery, some folks that might have relapsed. You might be going through some emotional roller coaster action where 1 minute you feel like dying, the next minute you're up here. And now let's take a closer look and I'm going to explain to you exactly what's going on in your brain. Because why? Because I wanted to know myself, so I did a little research. Check this out.
Meth can flood the brain with dopamine, sometimes 1,000 times what you normally experience. To keep from being overwhelmed, the brain adapts. It removes receptors and slows its own dopamine production.
What this means in layman's terms is that you can expect there to be a dopamine cliff. That cliff puts your brain in a state known as anhedonia. That is where there is a severe lack of dopamine and your brain's receptors are not receptive. That means there's going to be a significant drop in your dopamine, which is going to greatly affect the way you feel. You're going to go from up here to down here. This is why it's entirely normal for the first couple of days to feel really, really bad, potentially even suicidal. And that's because your brain just experienced that dopamine cliff. So what do we know? This too shall pass. But stay the course, because it does get better, and let me explain to you what's happening.
Early recovery brings erratic dopamine release as neurons try to recalibrate. Receptors recover in short spurts, giving you quick highs, motivation, energy, even euphoria, followed by crashes of fatigue or
And it's beautiful outside. So what does this mean? It means let the roller coaster begin. Buckle up, because you're going for a ride. But I promise you, if you can stay in your seat, it does get better. And let's take a closer look at why that is.
Meth pushes the HPA axis, your stress hormone system, into overdrive. Cortisol and adrenaline stay high much longer than normal. When you stop using, this system doesn't instantly reset. Hormone levels spike.
So what does that mean? It means it's normal to feel a little bit nutty. And like you are on a roller coaster, and for people to irritate you, and for you to become suddenly tired and want to sleep the day away. That's all totally normal. That's associated with the cortisol levels. That's associated with the aggression and the adrenaline and all of that stuff being out of whack. So guess what? It's normal. Whatever you do, don't go getting in fist fights at bus stops. Sometimes you just want to sleep and you can't get your ass out of bed and you just don't know why. Well, there's a reason behind that.
Meth throws off both your sleep cycle and your serotonin balance. People often swing from long nights of insomnia to heavy hypersomnia and back again. That constant shift keeps serotonin low, which normally helps regulate mood.
You gotta remember, you were probably running pretty hard, right? That means you probably didn't get as much sleep as you needed. But that being said, get your ass up. What I found is that the hardest part is just getting up out of bed. But once you're up out of bed, there's a world out there. It's all still going on, and there's lots to do. Found is once you actually get up out of bed, that you're gonna notice that you're gonna start to get your energy back. It's that mental part. The hardest part is just getting yourself out of bed. But I have faith that you can do it. So what do we know? So we know that it's normal to be depressed, possibly even suicidal. We know it's normal to have mood swings, to be irritable, to be tired, to feel just something is off, to be up and down on a roller coaster. We know all that stuff, right? So we just went over all of that. So now, what kind of a jerk would I be if I didn't tell you how long this is all gonna last? So check this out. The first 1 to 2 weeks is the hardest. This is when you're gonna experience the most cravings. This is when you're gonna have the extreme cliff that you're going to experience from the lack of dopamine, and you're gonna find yourself in an extreme state of depression. But the key here is that this too shall pass. The feelings you're experiencing are a direct result of that dopamine cliff, and you just got to remember, this will get better. As your brain starts to fire up its receptors again, and it starts to attempt to produce its own dopamine, you will have moments where you start to feel better. I've noticed for myself that it typically takes around 10 days or so, and then I'm starting to feel noticeably better. Now let me preface by saying every person is different, but for me, in my personal experience, I've found that after the first 2 weeks, things tend to get a lot easier from a mood stabilization perspective. But like I said, every person is different, so for some people, they might have bouts of depression for quite longer. Remember, it's going to be normal to be tired suddenly, to want to sleep suddenly, to be irritable, to feel discontent. But these magic words, "this too shall pass," have been my saving grace in this time. The bottom line is that you're going to get longer periods of feeling good, but you're still going to have these periods of time where that depression suddenly comes out of nowhere, or you're feeling tired out of nowhere, but that will get better. It takes us about 6 months for our receptors to be repaired and for our brain to start producing dopamine at its natural levels. Sometimes longer, but typically 6 months according to the research I've performed. So you might be thinking to yourself, 6 months, I can't go through this hell for 6 months. Well, I can tell you what I've done in the past, what has helped me, and what helps others is to do the following. Here are a few tools to help out. Exercise daily. The benefits of exercising daily are phenomenal. Supplement your diet with magnesium. It assists and supports neurotransmitter repair. Get lots of sleep. Sleep is when your brain repairs itself. Your diet is highly important. Eat protein-rich foods and foods that are high in B vitamins. This is the most important one. Find a recovery support group. Get a sponsor and work the steps. Getting clean is one thing, staying clean is another. Recovery groups give you the tools to stay clean. For me, I've found that any amount of exercise is a good amount of exercise, even if it's just walking. Start with walking, then progress to a bicycle. Start with hiking, things that keep your brain occupied, where there's new visuals, stuff that's going to keep you out of the boredom. Hands down, the absolute best solution for this disease and for this problem and for this addiction is, for me, a 12-step recovery program. And get a sponsor. If I didn't have a sponsor, I'd be getting nowhere. My sponsor is my brother, man. Not my brother, but my brother from another mother. And I love that dude, and I can tell him anything, and he can tell me anything. And that's my boy right there. And he's gonna help me get through this for the rest of my life, and I help him get through this for the rest of his life. It's a symbiotic relationship. You don't have to do this alone. None of us have to do this alone. And I'm here with you. If you need some help or you want some guidance or you're struggling right now, feel free to reach out in the comments. Check out the local recovery groups. Go into Google, type in 12-step recovery groups, 12-step recovery meetings in my area. They'll pop right up. I can recommend. There are, of course, the big ones, Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. It's all the same thing. It's all 12-step, right? But that is the solution. That's the best solution we have out there right now. And just remember, this too shall pass. Your mistakes do not define you. Everything that you are destroying yourself over and beating yourself up over and you feel like you can never recover, that's not true. You got to let it go. You got to put some faith in God, put some faith in yourself. Give yourself a chance. God bless you. I love you. And let's go. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, you can feel better because I was just where you are. And by the way, this is brought to you by Core Power, 42 grams of protein. Just kidding. I don't really have a sponsor. I do this just for fun. But I love you. God bless you.